Some years ago, there is this news that came up about strange phone calls that were calling people. I think this occurred in some parts of Asia, where there was this strange number that calls people, and immediately they picked up that phone number, they became dumb and they weren't able to talk nor speak. I think this happened for some days and it was really affecting so many people. I don't know if you heard this news. It's quite some years back or so. It was trending. Now, recently, a dear brother from Netherlands has sent in a revelation concerning something similar like this that is about to happen. And this is really going to be quite terrible because based on the information that this brother shared in his revelation, this particular strange number will be calling a lot of people, and immediately they pick up to hear who is behind the phone call, they will instantly fall unconscious. Some will actually be possessed in a way that immediately they pick up this strange phone call, they will start acting abnormal in a way that will be beyond human understanding. Sincerely, when I listened to this brother's message, I felt really troubled because there are so many innocent people. There are so many people that are ignorant about what exactly that is going to happen. And without knowing that this particular strange number that is calling you, it's actually going to have a distraction in your life, you would just pick it up and then whatever that is going to happen will happen. So immediately I received this message from this brother. I prayed over it and the Lord put in my heart to share this out. I want you to also listen and then also seek discernment. The fact that I have prayed over this doesn't mean you should also not test the spirit. It is your responsibility and you have the right as a believer of God to also take whatever message you receive into the hands of God. I want you to listen and pay attention to the details that were given in this revelation. The brother mentioned out the number and you need to put that in your mind so that henceforth, if you see that kind of number on your phone, you just have to pray over it before you pick it up. I'm not saying do not pick strange calls. I can't stop you from picking up any call on your phone. But however, if you see any number that is quite sensitive to what this brother has shared, you just have to pray over it before you take such an action. It doesn't matter where you are. This brother wasn't specific about which part of the world that this is going to occur. So I believe that this can happen anywhere in the world. And you shouldn't be surprised because we are in the end times and these things can happen any moment, anytime from now, just because the devil is trying as much as possible to destroy human lives before they will be able to find Jesus for salvation. If this is your first time watching a video on this channel, I'd like to welcome you and say a very big thank you. I want you to listen and then also share this message out with your friends and family so that they may also receive the message of the Lord. And also do not forget to like this video as it will help the video grow to reach a lot of audience. All right, so please stay tuned and pay attention as I play out this brother's message.
Hi, Great Miracles Avenue. My name is Scotty. I have been following your channel for a while now. Some days ago, God gave me an urgent message concerning a disaster that will affect us, both individuals and nations. God showed me 3 dangerous numbers that everyone needs to be aware of. I do not know what these wicked men are trying to do to humanity. This could clearly be a trap in a way to destroy human lives or track and access the privacy of humans through telecommunication. I do not know if what I saw in my dream meant something different more than a mere phone call set to destroy lives. But I want you to listen and seek discernment from the Lord. Just test the spirit, please. I am not in any way trying to put fear in anyone, but I have a strong urge to share this before it prevails. I had this experience on the 22nd of January, 2025. My ability to see dreams and visions started years ago. At first, they were small things I thought. I get visions of conversations before they happen, glimpses of people I would meet, and moments unfolding exactly as I had seen them. I tried to ignore it, telling myself it was just a coincidence. With time, the dreams became clearer and stronger. I would see warnings about people, things they hadn't told me, struggles they were hiding, and dangers ahead. When I shared what I had seen, the truth would always reveal itself. Time after time, everything came to pass, just as I had been shown. I stopped doubting. Now, after all these years, I know when a dream is just a dream and when it's something more. And this one I'm about to share, this one was different. The things I saw, such as the calls, the strange number I will be sharing, the whispers, the people dropping lifeless, the ones who remained alive but were no longer themselves. It wasn't just fear lingering in my mind, it was a certainty. I know this is going to happen. That's why I can't stay silent. That's why I need to speak. I have to warn the world before it's too late. In this vision, I saw myself in my place of work. This was my former workplace when I was living in Brazil. I don't know how it occurred, but I just found myself there, doing the same work I was doing there back then, at that time. I was halfway through my shift when I first heard someone in the office gasp, loud enough that a few of us looked up. He asked us a question. Did you guys see this? Immediately, this is what I saw. There is this guy in my old workplace called Mark. In the dream, he was behind the printer holding up his phone. His face was pale. He was reading the news on his phone and he said, "People were dying." That's all he kept saying. On the news. It was announced that people were just dropping dead after answering phone calls. I frowned and asked, "What?" He turned his screen toward me. A news article was open, the headline in bold. The headline stated clearly that mysterious deaths linked to unknown phone calls, authorities investigating. Below it, a grainy security camera image showed a man collapsing in what looked like a mall. I told myself that this has to be fake news, but even as I spoke, my stomach tightened. I completely believed when another coworker revealed how the news was all over Facebook. Another coworker said he had seen videos, posts, and warnings, and that it was spreading fast. In the dream, I could not see the exact phone number, but all I saw was the last 3 digits, and that was 666. Others claimed people who didn't die started acting strange. At first, it felt like one of those bloggers who seek attention did the posting, a made-up story designed to scare people. But then a video surfaced, one that made my blood run cold. I saw a woman in a grocery store answering her phone. 5 seconds later, she dropped, lifeless. The person filming screamed. The phone lay on the floor. He checked the number and shouted, it was an unknown number. That's when I began to see comments started flooding in. Don't answer unknown calls. Block any number ending in 666. Something is happening and no one knows why. I looked around the office. People were whispering, nervously checking their phones. Nobody was working anymore. Every one of us was glued to their phones, scrolling through updates, whispering and checking call logs. I kept mine face down on my desk, afraid to look at it. The scene suddenly changed and I saw people everywhere, dropping like puppets with their strings cut. Their phones slipped from their hands. Their phone screens still showed the cursed number, ending 666. They were motionless, lying still on the floor. Their eyes were wide open, frozen in the last moment of life. Again, others didn't die, but something was wrong with them. They looked as if something had reached inside of them and scooped out their souls. Some of them whispered under their breath. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. I was trapped in the vision, forced to watch as more and more people answered their phones. More bodies collapsed, more whispers spread. People were warning each other in office hallways, coffee shops, and subway stations everywhere. They kept saying, don't answer unknown numbers if you see 666 at the end. Block it. I saw hospitals overflowing with people who weren't sick, but weren't normal either. They sat in waiting rooms, whispering, staring blankly, not responding to their names. Nobody knew where the calls were coming from. No trace, no source. The numbers just appeared, and they weren't stopping. I saw the people who had answered but didn't die. They were different. At first, they looked normal. They walked, they blinked, they breathed. But their lips moved silently, whispering words no one could hear. They were just acting strangely. Suddenly, I saw some begin hurting themselves as if an unseen voice was commanding them. They slammed their heads against walls over and over, blood dripping down their skin. Some dragged sharp objects across their arms, their faces blank, as if pain no longer meant anything. Others became hostile toward anything about God. The sound of prayers sent them into rage. They tore apart Bibles, screaming at the words as if they burned their hands. They speak badly of anyone who speaks of faith. Churches became battlegrounds for them. They vandalized church doors and crosses. They were speaking blasphemous words. Any mention of God made them tremble with anger, their bodies shaking. Then there were those whose desires changed completely. Shame and restraint no longer existed. In broad daylight, they acted on urges without care or hesitation. They were having sex with each other in the open, their actions desperate, hungry, as if something inside them craved nothing but pleasure. It's at this moment I then woke up, coming back to myself. Sincerely to me, the time for being lukewarm is over. The last 3 digits I saw is a common number mentioned in the Bible, which relates to the Antichrist. I am very sure this has something to do with the Antichrist, even though the Bible never mentioned people picking strange calls from the number 666. I believe my dream has a very deep meaning. It probably might have a literal meaning. What has been revealed is not just a dream, it is a warning. The enemy is moving, and many are already falling under his deception. Darkness is spreading, and those without a spiritual covering are vulnerable. This is not the time to be distracted. Get serious with God. Strengthen your faith. Guard your heart. Stand on His word. Pray like never before. Pray for discernment. Pray for protection. Pray for those who are blind to the dangers ahead. The battle is real, and the enemy is relentless, but God is greater. Those who remain in Him will not be shaken. Stay vigilant. Stay in prayer. Stay in Christ.
Message. Now, God bless you and thank you very much for staying to the end. And I believe that you listened and clearly heard what this brother stated in his revelation. Now, the number that this brother mentioned, he made a claim that he wasn't able to identify the whole numbers, but then he was able to see the last 3 digits of the phone number. And this happens to be 666. And we all know that this number has been mentioned in the Bible and it is in relation to the Antichrist. So what impression are you going to make of this? Does this really has something to do with the Antichrist? Or is this part of the tricks or the trap that the Antichrist is setting up in order to possess people, in order to be able to manipulate them or destroy their lives? You know, one smartness of the devil is that immediately he is able to identify you as someone who is lost without salvation. He's going to try as much as possible to take your life, to destroy you, so that you will not be able to find Jesus to receive salvation. Because he knows that immediately you find Jesus to receive salvation, you can never belong to him anymore. You can never be with him, and he can never take you to hell. So he's doing everything he can to grab those who haven't been able to find Jesus. Now, even to those that have been able to find Jesus, if there are any loopholes in your life, if there are any chances in your life, the devil will be able to penetrate through to grab you just to take you away from God. So let us be careful, because when you listen to the latter part of this brother's message, he clearly stated that some people, immediately they pick up these calls, they will begin to act strangely in a way that they'll start using blasphemous words. They'll start tearing up Bibles, and they would not even want to hear the name of God, all just because they picked up this phone call. So please and please and please, wherever you are, let us make sure that we do not fall into this trap. Also, be kind enough to share this message out with your friends and family, everyone, so that they will be able to know that this is what is coming. Let us not be surprised. Let us not be so much in doubt of this, because in these end times, they are going to use any available means to destroy people. They are going to use any available means to manipulate and grab people, to possess them in a way to use them as they want. Let us not be an scapegoat for these evil people. The Antichrist, the devil himself, the wicked men that have made themselves available to be used by the Antichrist. Let us not fall in their way. Let us continue to study our Bible. Let us continue to be in relationship with God, so that anytime they try to plan anything silly, God is going to reveal it to us. So I'm going to leave you here. Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section. And please do not forget to like this video. May God be with you till we meet again.